Right, we are back with my conversation with Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. Let me ask you, Senator, now Raila walks in essence, what you're telling us, the ODM leader stormed that meeting. He was not allowed in the meeting.
Again, the word storm is...
But he wasn't expected in the meeting.
Strong. I mean, he walked into the meeting to the surprise of all of us.
To the surprise of everyone. Now, how did...
In a normal situation, it would be Raila receiving the president.
The president,
or Kalonzo receiving the president.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody received him.
Okay, so
he just came in and it was a shocker.
In any way, did it strengthen that meeting now that we had a cross-section of leadership from this country down there? Did it strengthen that meeting or did it undermine that meeting? Because you could look at the body language in the podium and even the sentiments that followed that. Did it undermine in any way your party leader?
No, of course not. Of course not. Because, I mean, the program continued as we had anticipated it would. And,
politically? I'm talking about politically.
No, not politically.
Yes.
Not at all. In fact, the discomfort was so bad that at the point where he was Governor Kibwana offers him to speak, he refuses. Very, very unusual to say something. Of course, he spoke when we go to Konza. But at that point, he refused to say anything. But during the visits into the Thwake particularly, he was there, he was present.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now Raila sits there. The reason why I'm asking this is because just preceding that visit, there was a lot of back and forth between Raila Odinga and the party leader. Kalonzo Musyoka came out first and said he'll be a mad person to support Raila Odinga's third bid, right? And Raila Odinga said, si kwamba mtu anisaidie. So there's a lot of discomfort, and I bet that was the first time they were meeting since the back and forth.
No, I explained to you that they met the previous day.
Raila was in that meeting also?
The previous day,
yes.
Prior to the visit, they had a one-on-one with my party leader.
Okay.
To discuss ostensibly matters concerning the political party fund.
Okay.
So it's not like it was the first time, but you can tell that, of course, there was no, that usual camaraderie was not there.
Was not there? Okay.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks as though it's very lost because Kalonzo Musyoka has made it clear that he's not going to support Raila Odinga. You being, I'll call you blue-eyed boy of Kalonzo Musyoka down there, together with Senator Wambua.
What a word to use.
Because even the seat that you're given at the podium...
I'd rather red-eyed, but continue.
Right. Even the seat that you were given, that prominent. What is Kalonzo Musyoka's game plan? Because looking at the election since 1992, when Ford Kenya had to come up, there must have been a coalition to win an election in this country. Kalonzo Musyoka looks as though with the alliance that they're making, he looks like he wants to be a front runner, but his game plan is not so clear as yet. Is he just testing waters where he can support, or your party leader is not going to support Raila Odinga, or even come together with Raila Odinga?
Let me go back to the history.
Yeah.
The history is rich in terms of Kalonzo supporting Raila Odinga and them entering into some initial formal agreement, again in writing. They got into another agreement in 2017. I had the pleasure of reading it. I was, of course, not given a copy to make a photocopy, but I read it. And these two gentlemen in this agreement had...
Pre-coalition.
Pre-election.
Pre-election, yes.
Pre-election agreement. And I guess because they wanted that agreement is between two gentlemen of high stature. The reason I think my party leader is upset is because that formal agreement, to the level that I understand it, Mheshimiwa Raila had agreed to support Kalonzo in the 2022 bid.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Okay.
And it was irrespective of victory.
Black and white.
Absolutely irrespective of victory. Now, that agreement is witnessed by two law professors. Professor Makau and Professor Kivuza Kibwana, who was then supposed to be, was not yet, but was going to be the Wiper chairperson. Now, Professor Kibwana tweets recently in a very weird manner about that agreement and says this agreement, first of all, to confirm that there was an agreement, he tweets and says that this agreement was to extend that Raila would support Kalonzo if there was victory.
Okay. Which Raila became president.
Which is not true.
Okay.
And I bother to countermand it. But the intricate thing is that this agreement, the person who is supposed to give out this document in case of a dispute is in New York. Professor Mutula.
I think he's in town right now.
I saw him in town.
Yes, he's in town.
And he's the one who is keeping what would be what they call an original.
He's a custodian.
He's a custodian. I must tell you that between the two of them and the two professors and anybody else who was there, that agreement, as far as I'm concerned, is a terrible agreement.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned. But that's my personal view. But the fact is that that agreement is there, and that's what so when it appears as if they are not together, and I can tell you, their chemistry is terrible.
Okay.
Their chemistry
genuinely terrible.
It's just terrible.
I mean, genuinely.
Or is this for the cameras? I mean, what cameras? It's terrible. I mean, to the extent that the statements can be exchanged the way they were done is not good. The fact that I think that they have not actually had a meeting to discuss some of the things that ail NASA is also not. It's not good.
Okay.
But again, we are from the position where I think my party leader, and rightly so, is feeling that we have carried NASA as wiper for 10 years.
Okay. And he's no longer willing to do that.
We have carried NASA for 10 years. If you come to Makueni, as Makueni, from CORD to NASA, we almost voted to last month, 94%,
okay.
95% to NASA. I mean, we had the belief, and we went around saying it, that this button will be handed over. Be it as it may, it's not like Kalonzo is the sort of political leader that we must be given a button. We are simply saying, as wiper, that Kalonzo is fit to vie as president, as he was fit to vie as president in 2007.
Yes.
We call it in numero uno, first among equals. There's none of them who can claim to be above him, either politically or through experience or otherwise. And therefore, we want to say this to the nation. Kalonzo is a presidential candidate. As to whether we will, in the alliance, get to that level, whether we in One Kenya alliance, or we will get more people, the fact of the matter is that we have told him under no uncertain circumstances,
as wiper,
that he must present himself
as a candidate.
As a candidate.
Charity Ngilu tells Kalonzo Musyoka, we either unite or we fall divided.
Yeah, Charity Ngilu has our views, and part of the reason you see some quarrels in Kitui is because there's an impression created that Charity Ngilu is fronting Raila. That's part of the problems you are seeing amongst the Kitui leaders. And he has a right to do so, and possibly believes that it is Raila who can slay the dragon, so to speak. So, eventually, when the rubber meets the road, all these NASA principles, let me just call them, will have to bite the bullet. And the biting the bullet means that in terms of numbers, in terms of the history, in terms of the margins in 2017 and 2013, unless they can put their votes together, unless they can put their votes together, two things will happen. Their competitor will win, or if it doesn't win, none of them will win, and they will force. Same
thing Charity Ngilu is saying.
You will go into a rerun.
Same thing Charity Ngilu is saying.
Charity Ngilu is saying so, yes, in so many words, and I'm saying so in so many words that the country, the politics of the country has changed dramatically.
That an individual cannot win an election. The last person to win an election as an individual is probably the late President Moi.
And that is history. There must be, and I think the part of the drive for the BBI team was to put these people together. And therefore, I think that if anybody is looking at numbers, and just going by the margins, I'm talking about numbers, margins, 25% in 24 counties, 50 plus 1. If you have 3 strong presidential candidates, none of them will marshal
enough
the threshold.
50 plus 1.
50 plus 1?
Yeah, none.
None.
Okay. So
minus of course Uhuru in the ballot. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
considering the
candidates,
numbers. Yeah.
But now, even looking at it wholesomely, that agreement is a secret. You couldn't even print a copy. Well, we know it exists because that's the basis that they went for the election in 2013 and of course 2017.
You know it exists. I'm telling you it does.
Yeah, it exists. So looking at Kalonzo's backyard, look at the governors, the outgoing governors, Machakos, and of course, yes, and of course your governor.
Kibwana.
Yes, Ngilu has only one term. They look like they are also undermining Kalonzo Musyoka in his own backyard. So even as you talk about Raila Odinga, can't you talk about the first unity or purpose from your region? Because even the sentiments, add Ngilu's sentiments, Kibwana's sentiments, and of course Mutua's, because Mutua is going for president.
You know, this question has bothered me. How is it that when Professor Kibwana says he's running for president, it undermines Kalonzo? Or if Mutua says that I'm going to be the president, he says I'm going to be the 5th president, how does that undermine Kalonzo Musyoka? Because that's an individual and he has a right to do so.
Yeah.
The fact is that, I mean, I will possibly get more votes than them. I can tell you that for free, and I can say this openly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I will possibly even beat them. If I was to run for president, I'd possibly beat both of them.
Don't you think they should back one person from that region? That's my question. If they all threw their weight behind Kalonzo Musyoka, just like in Luoland, for example, no one runs when Raila is running. We've seen a few trials that have failed. Kikuyuland, look at what's happening in Western Kenya. Musalia Mudavadi runs. You have Moses Wetangula running. We have Mukhisa Kitui running. And that disorganizes a region that you should first get the whole region behind you. That's my point.
If I was to write a wish list, the wish list would be that every other person, not just Kambas, would support. The fact is that our politics is that way, that we must fight one another, bring each other down. But Kamba unity has been elusive. It's not unusual.
Yeah.
It's not like it was not, there was, when Kalonzo vied in 2007, it's not like all Kambas agreed. A lot of them disagreed. And if you recall, there was a lot of opposition, largely even from 97 in the Ukambani region. The fact is that none of his competitors, so-called, they are not competitors. None of them can marshal the sort of numbers he will marshal from his backyard alone.
Okay, it's impossible.
It's just not possible.
It's not possible. Why can't they just go behind Kalonzo Musyoka? Because that perhaps gives Raila the strength even to storm into a meeting or to walk into a meeting where Kalonzo Musyoka, because I've never seen Kalonzo Musyoka going to Nyanza when Raila is going with Uhuru Kenyatta.
By the way, the two things are not related. Kamba unity and Raila storming into the tent, those are not related.
No, the fact that it lends credence that Raila can undermine him in his own backyard and walk in to a meeting that is uninvited. And the other governors also are doing the same. They are saying they will run for president. And the question you are asking, how does that undermine Kalonzo Musyoka? The answer is unity, what Charity Ngilu was talking about. If they all unite behind one candidate from that region, the total number of votes go to one basket.
Let me tell you what happened in 2017 so that you understand what will possibly happen in 2022. In 2017, my governor, Professor Kibwana, left his briefcase party to support Kalonzo. Charity Ngilu, of course, again supported Kalonzo to become governor. So this sort of thing that you are seeing might easily change towards the next general elections. When we get there, you will see many more changes. I can say this, and I can say this so openly, that so-called undermining of Dr. Kalonzo Musyoka by Professor Kibwana as governor and Alfred Mutua, in my own view, and it is happening all over the country, that the second-term governors have found themselves in a very awkward position. A lot of them were fighting for what would have been regional government so that they could find a way after politics. So I think everybody is taking a claim. Is taking a claim so that half of it is relevance.
Half of the noise is relevant.
Just being relevant. And let me tell you an example of something that happened when we went to visit the former president. May his soul rest in peace. And we were so many of us. And he said, I don't understand you people. And I can repeat this for the sake of all those people who want to be president. He said, how do you get elected today, tomorrow, and you want to become a president? He said, I can pick my call today, and you think I've retired from politics, and I can make a phone call to somebody in Damu, I can call somebody in Mandera, and I have friends. What sort of network do you get when you become a leader for first time and you want to become president? It can work.
Okay.
This country is so big.
Okay.
You need to network all over the country. And I can tell you, nobody amongst the Ukambani leaders has got the sort of network Kalonzo has.
Okay.
Oh, it's a fact.
Cuts across, because he's been in politics longer, perhaps.
Yes.
Much longer.
A long time.
A long time.
And it counts for something.
Okay. As Mutula Kilonzo, would you bring Kalonzo and Johnston Muthama together? Would it be in your interest?
Yes. The same way that Kalonzo Musyoka sat with my former chairman, Musila
David,
who didn't write very palatable things in his book, Gold Seasons of Hope. It is in my interest, personally, and because when they came to my office, this Muthama himself and Musila, when they wanted me to vie, they said, please get off your seat and come and defend the Kamba Nation.
Okay.
And I keep repeating this message to them when I meet them. I ask them, what changed when you came to my office on 19th of July, 2013, and now? Because I believe that you wanted us to defend
the Kamba Nation.
The Kamba Nation.
Yes.
And therefore, my interest for all these leaders. And by the way, this disunity is just amongst the top.
Okay. Chini kwa ground, written different.
The young leadership don't have this sort of thing. They pull me down. We agree. Okay. We can be from different political parties, different political persuasions, but we can agree to work, fundamental to work together. So every other person out there keeps asking, and somebody has written a book about the Kamba Nation, but I think that we take our faith too seriously, we fight sometimes too much, but eventually, I've told you, in 2022, you're going to see a difference.
A difference. All right, I have a few more questions for you. Let's talk about NASA. They say NASA is dead. They're just thinking of where to bury NASA. Why can't Wiper become the first party to pull out of this? Because
when you pull out of NASA as Wiper, is of little consequence.
Not the first among the three.
It means nothing.
But someone has to begin it.
The agreement has safety nets to protect the coalition.
Okay.
The safety net of that coalition is that you cannot leave, NASA cannot die. The statement NASA is dead is a statement, because the only way NASA can die is if three parties leave.
Leave, yes.
That's the only way.
So it's just a statement. So
just
there must be someone that has to
Kiraitu made, oh, Jubilee's dead. That's that sort of thing.
But if you look at sentiments, and yesterday there was a debate on this with Secretary Generals of the parties.
I watched it.
Yes, and if you look at the sentiments, everyone agrees that essentially NASA does not exist anymore. ODM undermines all the constituent parties, left, right, and center, denies them the political party funding, and they say they have not received the money. They received 500 million shillings the other day.
600.
600. I know there's further about 1.4 billion that is still remaining out of the 2 billion. But look at this. Look at the kind of arrogance from that party to the constituent parties, the other parties that came to the coalition. There must be someone who has to begin it. Why can't you begin it? Why can't you walk away? Then Ford Kenya walks away, then ANC walks away. Then we find a way to bury NASA.
I want to say this in a very polite way, that I don't think Edwin Sifuna is a person I want to respond to as the SG of ODM. I don't think he represents what ODM represents. And he talks too much, he says too much, and I don't even understand whether he knows where this country is going. The fact is that NASA was a very well-conceived idea. NASA is a natural coalition. If you go amongst the supporters of NASA, you will find that it's easily the most natural coalition. In fact, I'm persuaded that if NASA were more organized, it would be easy to win the next general election.
Okay.
Because it's the most natural coalition.
Okay.
Jubilee was a coalition of convenience. NASA was not just a convenience. There's some natural chemistry. Now, it will take a lot of a person who can think, because assuming you go and break NASA, what do? You walk out of NASA, nothing is going to happen to NASA. NASA continues. So if the three political parties meet and agree tomorrow.
Which, is it possible that
it's possible they can sit and agree?
Yeah, because all of them are anyway.
And they call their delegates, and you sign a memorandum and walk out of NASA in 12 months, the general elections. My view is, again, it means absolutely nothing in the overall scheme of events. It's an event that doesn't mean anything.
It's counterproductive.
It doesn't add up. It doesn't add any value to the politics of the country that you have left and form another one. And there was reason behind the Political Parties Act requiring parties to deposit a coalition agreement 3 months the elections. There was value in it.
Yes.
Because it's in the election cycle. The election cycle begins somewhere around December, January, February. That's my view. Others share a different view. But I mean,
so
I exercise my thought, you know, thinking broadly and not thinking about something that will help you between now and
August next year.
And tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, you must think progressively.
All right.
Yeah, because I mean, even One Kenya Alliance is still a coalition on paper.
Still, yeah.
Because I mean, KANU is still in Jubilee.
And the other parties are still in NASA. The other parties are still in NASA.
I mean, and you can't form a coalition unless you leave your respective coalitions.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you this. As a lawyer, do you believe that it's possible to hold a referendum and the election within this short duration we have to the next general election? Do you believe it's possible?
Well, the possibility is there. But it's only that, I mean, of what value is it? You understand? You can hold it. You can hold it in December if you want.
Okay.
But of what value is it to hold a referendum in December and hold an election in August? That's really the point. Some of us are extremely uncomfortable about how this was cutting too close to the general elections, because remember in 2016 we had a crisis, and I sat in that committee led by Senator Orengo and now Governor of Meru, Kiraitu Murungi. And it appeared then that we were trying to organize the elections too late. Now, you must remember that a referendum is an election.
Yeah, it is.
It is an election by any standard. And it's not cheap, it's not easy, and therefore anything that we wanted to do, because a lot of people don't know that once you have a referendum, you must have the enabling legislation passed. Now, if you hold a referendum in December, and then you want to recall Parliament in January, February, and nominations are in March and April, how much do you think you can do? I mean, they are just cutting too close.
Yeah.
Some of us who thought that it would have been nice to find an alternative, 52 out of 74 clauses can go through the parliamentary process, and we leave the rest for another day. That was the view, that this process has been so expensive, but it will be of little value to the country if it was, just disappears. Now, if the ruling is issued on 20th of August, there is nothing that stops whichever party going to the Supreme Court.
Okay. Give it another 2 months.
Give it another 2 months. So the volumes you saw in court will be replicated again 7 times to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
And then what Senator Orengo and all these other good gentlemen were saying, including these young people who made such elaborate presentations, will repeat this again.
Exactly. And then we'll buy more time, then we'll go into next year.
And the most important thing, actually, is that under Article 89 framework, the idea was to have constituencies 12 months
before an election.
Before an election.
Which is an impossibility. So what is the best case scenario here? A postponement of elections?
You cannot postpone the election. I'm surprised you can utter those words.
It's possible. It's been done. They can find a reason. Pandemic.
Which pandemic? The Constitution only talks about war.
Yes. We are fighting the virus.
Which virus?
Pandemic.
You need to check what you're taking. You need to downgrade what you are taking.
My point
what are you talking about?
My point is, these guys can manufacture any
which
reason.
Guys? With the,
please. Proponents of the referendum to push the election to get it in there.
No.
It's impossible.
N-O. The Constitution requires, and the country must understand this. The election of the president and the term of the president is tied to the election date. to extend the term of president by
1 day.
1 hour. 1 day, Gandhi. 1 hour.
Yes.
You need to go to Kenyans and ask them.
And that's what they want to do through the referendum.
It is not in the bill, Bwana.
Anyway,
I need to give you a copy.
Junior, essentially, we cannot extend the term of parliament. So Raila says even 3 months before the election, we can do this.
Do what?
Do a referendum.
And then what?
And then prepare for the election.
Yeah, what?
Yes.
That's voodoo. That's voodoo. I'm telling you, it's voodoo, and I can say it on TV. That's voodoo. Why? Because you need to implement and make law out of the constitutional amendment bill.
Yes.
Now, when will you do that?
Okay.
3 months before the election.
3 months before election. Anyway, they are politicians.
And people must go back to our 2010 framework. The reason why it was so critical to have the referendum in 2010 was to give adequate time to prepare for the elections and pass the attendant laws. I still think that it was a mistake, a grave mistake, not to have a minister for justice.
Okay.
It was a grave error. Because the Attorney General of Kenya is in deep slumber. It's like he sleeps in Addis Ababa.
I'll ask you what you took before you came here. But anyway, as we wind up, you have done exceptionally well by standards, by research in your area. And I'm glad I knew your old man also. And following those footsteps really well. But my concern is, increasingly, I look at you and I think you're going to run for governor. Are you done with the Senate?
You look at me?
Yes. I look at what you're doing on the ground. And I think you're going to run for governor.
There is a lot of talk.
Okay.
That I should run.
Okay, I should have said I've had the talk.
You should have, yes, because unless you are doing something in Makueni, which I don't know. There's a lot of talk, and I have seriously given it a thought.
Okay.
And I will be making an announcement. There are those who have been going out there and saying that Mutula should remain in the Senate.
You're doing a good job in the Senate. Although the handshake mellowed you kidogo, but you do a good job in the Senate.
The handshake didn't mellow me.
It did.
No, I just watch what I said.
Okay.
And you know, Mutula should remain in national. He plays well. He has done well in the Senate. I mean, who says I cannot take another challenge? Nobody knew I would be a good senator.
Yes.
In fact, a lot of people thought I would not make a good senator or a senator at all. So, if it takes making a difference in Makueni, I will do it.
Okay.
And I can do it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. A lot of people have confidence in you. I sat here with James Orengo and I asked him, while everyone was being removed and replaced, why did you leave Mutula? He said that guy does a good job. There's a lot of confidence.
No, it's just out of, first, we must thank God for his grace, but it's just a good work ethic, courtesy of the gentleman you called your friend.
Yes.
Well-trained. Well-trained means that even if I was given a broom to sweep, I would sweep well.
Okay.
If I was given anything to do, I would still do it well, irrespective.
All right.
And therefore, that's really the principle.
Okay.
Yeah, so wait for me.
I wait for the announcement. Please come and make it here.
Here?
Yeah, come and make it here. Yes.
Really?
Yeah, come and make it here. Thank you very much, Senator.
This is not water.
They are watching you tonight. They want to know what you did. And I'll tell them you smoked something before you came. You can't take me to court. Thank you very much, Senator.
I'll sue you, by the way.
No, you can't sue me. My lawyer will be Mutula Kilonzo.
Oh, not in this
Watch out. Watch out. Thank you, Senator, for coming tonight.
Yeah,
thanks for sharing your perspective and shedding light what happened in the Lower Eastern with Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Odinga. Good to have you on the show. I'm looking forward to having you. You're very elusive, but I'm glad you came tonight.
It's a jam on Mombasa Road.
No way.
Get me a chopper from your chairman.
And you will be coming.
Yes, I'll come.
Great. So when we come back, Steve Ogola and Alexander are already on the other side. Is the Member of Parliament for Egwen constituency. That's Alexander Kosgei. I'm speaking to them. Most importantly, in less than 7 hours, there will be a by-election in Kiambaa. There's a statement from the Jubilee Party talking about what's going on, the smear campaign, of course the propaganda ahead of that by-election tomorrow. I'm talking to them about that. They already see